The alien market. A human and his dog. The twin suns of Yelana 4 hung low in the sky, casting long blue shadows over the grand alien market. Creatures of all shapes and sizes moved through the glowing stalls, trading rare crystals, starfish, leather, memory dust, and strange mechanical bugs. The market was loud, chaotic, and full of laughter. They weren't laughing because of the bargains. They were laughing at him. A human had just stepped into the marketplace, something rare on this side of the galaxy. He looked calm, quiet. His black boots didn't make a sound as he walked across the metal floor. He wore a long, dark coat, dusted with star sand. But it wasn't just the man that made aliens chuckle and point. It was the creature walking beside him, a dog. The dog was large, with thick black fur and glowing blue eyes. It moved silently like a shadow, every step in sync with the man. Its tail didn't wag, its mouth didn't pant. It watched everything. The aliens laughed even harder. Humans are so strange, one blue-scaled merchant hissed to his friend. They still keep pets, that creature's just a fluffy toy. Maybe he's emotional, another smirked. Maybe humans are still weak and need comfort animals. They didn't know that the dog could hear every word. And remember, the man said nothing. He just kept walking through the crowd, his eyes scanning the vendors, looking for something. Max, the dog, walked close, ears twitching. An alien child ran up and reached toward Max. "Don't," the man said softly. "Too late." The child touched Max's head. Instantly, Max's head turned. His mouth opened, revealing razor-sharp fangs. A low mechanical growl came from deep inside him, a sound no normal dog could make. The growl vibrated through the ground. The child froze in fear. The man knelt down beside Max. He didn't scold the dog. He didn't look angry. He only said, "Not yet, Max. Only when I say." Max closed his mouth, but his eyes didn't stop glowing. A crowd was forming now. Alien. Guard stepped forward. "What is that thing?" one barked. "You're not allowed to bring animals here." "He's not just an animal," the man replied calmly. The crowd laughed again. "Is he dangerous?" one alien joked. "Should we be worried?" "Only if you hurt me," the man answered. "Then you should all be very worried." The guards laughed too. They didn't take him seriously. One stepped closer and tapped the dog with a scanner. "Looks like a Class 4 Earth canine, harmless." Max tilted his head. The guard snorted. "See? Just a dumb dog." Max moved so fast that no one saw it coming. He lunged, not to bite, but to knock the scanner out of the guard's hand. It flew 10 feet across the market and shattered on the floor. Gasps filled the air. The guard reached for a weapon. "That's it, we're taking the creature." The man didn't move. "I wouldn't," but they did. 2 guards lunged forward. Max didn't growl this time. He just acted. His body blurred, moving faster than any animal should. One guard hit the ground, unconscious. The other was pinned down with Max's teeth at his throat. The alien didn't move. The laughter was gone now. Silence filled the market. The blue-scaled merchant from earlier whispered, "That's not a dog. That's a weapon." More guards arrived. They surrounded the man and Max. "Stand down," a commander ordered. "You and that thing are coming with us," the man sighed. "I didn't come here for trouble." Max didn't move, but his eyes glowed brighter. The man raised his hands slowly. "We'll go." The guards hesitated. None of them wanted to touch the dog. As they walked away, the aliens in the market watched in silence. Some were scared, some were curious. But none of them were laughing anymore. A small alien boy in the crowd asked his mother, "Why would a human bring a dog here?" She replied quietly, "Maybe he didn't bring the dog to protect himself. Maybe the dog brought him." And in the shadows above, high on a tower, a figure watched through a scope. She tapped her comm. "They've arrived, the human and the prototype. Proceed with caution," the voice on the other end said. "Do not provoke the dog." Warning growls and strange powers. The alien guards led the human and his dog down a dark hallway inside the central outpost of Yelana 4. Metal walls surrounded them and flickering lights buzzed above. The air was thick, not with heat, but with tension. Max walked silently beside his human, not afraid, not confused, only alert. The lead guard, tall and reptilian, barked, "Stay in line. If the beast tries anything again, we'll put it down." Eli didn't answer. His eyes stayed forward. Max's glowing blue eyes, however, never stopped scanning. Every corner, every hand on every weapon, every sound. He recorded it all. They entered a containment chamber, bright, sterile, and cold. "Separate the animal," the commander ordered. "Put the human in holding room 7. We'll examine the creature alone." 4 guards approached Max with an energy collar and magnetic cuffs. Eli stepped forward. "You shouldn't do that," the commander growled. "We decide what's safe here, human." Max let them come. At first. But when the collar touched his neck, Max growled. It wasn't a normal growl. It was deep, electronic, like the hum of a reactor before overload. The lights flickered. The guards paused. What was that? Then Max's body changed. His fur shifted. No, transformed. Thin silver panels appeared beneath the hair like hidden armor. The cuffs snapped onto him but didn't lock. They melted, like wax under heat. One guard screamed, "He's burning through the cuffs." "Stun him." Now, 2 guards fired. Shock charges. They hit Max. He didn't flinch. Instead, Max looked up slowly. His eyes glowed brighter, almost white. He opened his mouth, not to bark, but to speak. One word, a sound made from synthetic vocal cords. Not clear, but real. "Threat?" The entire room froze. Eli, behind the glass, looked calm. He tapped the side of the containment room with one finger. "Max, stand down." Max stopped. His body relaxed. The glow in his eyes faded back to blue. The growl ceased. The armor plates melted away into fur again. He sat down and looked like a regular dog. The guards didn't move, they didn't speak. The commander turned pale green. "What is this thing?" he whispered. Eli finally spoke. "He's not a thing. He's a guardian. No such program exists." Eli smiled slightly. "That's what Earth wants you to think." The commander stepped back. We'll keep him in a scanner cage. High-frequency walls." Eli shrugged. "Try if you want, but I'd suggest not hurting me in the process." Inside, the scanner room, Max was surrounded by laser fields. A dozen sensors scanned his body from all angles. Alien scientists sat behind a glass panel whispering in panic. His structure is not biological, not mechanical either. He reads like a hybrid, but the tech is unfamiliar. Could be pre-human tech, or forbidden design. He's listening to us. Look at his ears. Max was listening and learning. One of the younger scientists leaned close to the mic. "Max, can you understand us?" Max didn't move. "Max," she said again, "if you understand, blink once." Max blinked. Once. The others gasped. That's not instinct. That's language processing. He chose to respond. Suddenly, all the screens went black. The scanner room dimmed. Then one word appeared on the main screen in blinking blue text. "Release," one of the scientists whispered. "He hacked our scanner." From inside the cage. In the next room, Eli leaned back in his seat, calm. He knew what was happening, and on the higher floor the spy from before, still watching, whispered into her comm, "We were wrong. It's not a prototype. It's a finished weapon." "Do we proceed?" the voice on the comm asked. There was a long pause, then she replied, "No, not until we find out what happens when he's angry." Max's origin, Project Cerberus. The stars outside the station window flickered like dying candles. Inside the dark cell, Eli sat on a cold bench. His eyes were half closed. He wasn't sleeping. He was remembering. The past never left him, especially that day. A screen on the wall blinked to life, casting a pale glow. The alien commander's voice came through. slow and careful. "We've seen your creature's behavior. We demand to know what it is, where it came from." Eli gave no answer. Instead, he said one word softly to himself: Cerberus. Flashback. Earth, 20 years ago. The skies over the Northridge military complex were gray. A storm was coming. Inside the underground bunker, dozens of scientists and engineers stood before a giant steel door. They looked nervous. General Rousseau walked in, her expression serious. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "you are about to witness humanity's first successful prototype. We call him Max." The door opened slowly. Out walked a black dog, calm, strong, glowing eyes, not wagging his tail, not sniffing around. He moved like a soldier, eyes scanning, analyzing. Dr. Linden, the lead scientist, whispered. "He looks normal," Rousseau replied, "until he sees a threat." Behind a glass wall, a robot enemy activated. It charged at Dr. Linden. Max turned instantly. In less than 2 seconds, he was across the room. The robot didn't make it halfway. Max leaped, tore it in half midair, and landed without a sound. The room was silent. "Built from Earth's most loyal species," Rousseau said, "and enhanced with artificial cognition. Max is not just a dog. He is a hybrid guardian. His programming is designed around one thing: protect his human." Someone asked, "What happens if the human dies?" Rousseau paused. "Then he becomes something else." Back to present time. Eli stared at the blinking wall. The aliens wanted answers. He doubted they were ready. He looked at Max, who now sat in a corner of the cell calmly. "You remember Northridge, don't you?" Eli asked. Max blinked once. A slow, soft blink. "Yeah," Eli whispered. "You were the only one who made it out with me." Flashback. The collapse of the Cerberus program. The secret project didn't stay secret for long. Other nations found out. Spies leaked details. Space factions feared what Earth had created. They struck first. A targeted orbital attack destroyed the Northridge facility. Max had been in lockdown mode, trapped in a security vault. Eli had been nearby, wounded from the blast. "Protocol Zero," Eli had whispered with his last breath of strength. Max heard it. The vault opened. His eyes glowed white. He broke through rubble, scanned Eli's body, and, seeing that he was alive, carried him on his back for over 40 kilometers through radiation, enemy drones, and collapsing terrain. The dog that once waited for orders had become something more. A partner. Present time. Alien Station Inn. The observation room. Alien scientists played surveillance footage from earlier events. They watched Max disable weapons, break magnetic locks, and react to body language and threat detection faster than any known AI. "He reads emotion like a telepath," one scientist said. "He's more precise than a soldier, more loyal than a machine." "This shouldn't be possible," the commander growled. And yet here he is. Inside the cell, Max turned his head. His ears perked. He heard everything. Eli sighed. "They'll try to break us apart." Max's eyes glowed slightly. Eli looked up at the camera. "You don't get it, do you?" he said aloud. "You think you're holding a pet, but he's not mine. I'm his." The lights flickered again. Warning alarms beeped. From the upper deck, the spy adjusted her visor and whispered into her comm. "They made a mistake bringing him here. Max isn't the weapon." She watched as Max stood slowly, his blue eyes scanning the air. "His heart is." The attack on the station. A cold silence filled the station. Eli sat in his cell. Max was lying at his feet, ears up, listening. Something felt wrong. Then the lights blinked. Once. Twice. Then darkness. A low hum replaced the usual station sounds. Then came the alarms. Red lights flashed. A mechanical voice echoed through the halls. "Emergency! Unidentified hostile breach on lower decks." Max stood immediately. His glowing blue eyes shifted to white. Eli didn't move. He looked at the camera above and calmly said, "You should let us out." In the control room, the alien commander was panicking. "Who's attacking us?" A technician replied, "Unknown species. They've taken down level 3 already. They're not even using weapons. They're tearing through walls." The commander shouted, "Get reinforcements. Guard the prisoners." Meanwhile, in the hall outside Eli's cell, explosions rocked the floor. Screams echoed through the metal corridor. Smoke rolled in. A group of alien rebels stormed in. Their armor was dark and spiked, and their eyes glowed red. These weren't soldiers, these were hunters. The leader looked through the glass cell window. He saw the human and the dog. He sneered. "That's the one. Take the dog. Kill the man." Max stood in front of Eli. The rebels rushed in. Big mistake. Inside the cell, Max growled. It wasn't a warning. It was a promise. Before the guards could reach them, Max launched forward. The reinforced glass wall shattered like paper. His body, now armored with hidden plates, slammed into the first rebel, breaking his ribs with a single blow. The others screamed. Max didn't bark. He didn't growl. He moved. Fast, precise, lethal. He slammed one into the wall. Another tried to shoot, but the gun melted in his hand. Max's teeth sunk into the rebel's armor, ripping it apart. Blood hit the wall. The last attacker turned and ran, but Max didn't chase. He returned to Eli. Eli stood now, bruised but focused. He looked down at his dog. "Thanks," he said. Max blinked once. Together they stepped out of the ruined cell. Upper levels. Control room. The commander stared at the surveillance screen. His voice shook. "He's loose." The spy beside him whispered. That wasn't just escape, that was defense, controlled, smart. He didn't even need full force. "Is there any part of this station he can't reach?" the commander asked. "Only the vault? Lock it. Now." Hallways. Evacuation. Chaos sirens howled. Civilians ran. Guards fell back. No one could control the chaos. And through it all, Max led Eli. Max sniffed the air and changed direction, avoiding enemy squads. He scanned locked doors, found alternate paths. He opened sealed panels with a touch of his paw. Technology responded to him like he was part of the system. In a stairwell, a young alien girl cried beside a dead guard. Eli stopped. "Max?" The dog tilted his head, then walked to the girl. She looked up, terrified, but Max nudged her gently. He didn't glow. He didn't growl. He was just calm. She grabbed his fur. He helped her up. Eli spoke softly. "We don't leave kids behind." They took her with them. Command bridge. Final defense. The rebel attackers had reached the top. The station was about to fall. Suddenly the blast doors opened. Max stepped in, covered in smoke, but unharmed. Eli walked beside him. The rebel leader turned. "You? Again?" Max didn't wait. This time he wasn't just protecting, he was cleaning house. He leapt across the bridge, taking down 2 enemies before they could blink. The others fired, but Max dodged every shot. The bullets hit nothing but air and metal. The rebel leader fired a high-voltage cannon at Eli. Max teleported. He stood between the beam and Eli, taking the full blast. Everyone watched in silence. The smoke cleared. Max still stood. His eyes were no longer blue. They were red. The remaining rebels dropped their weapons. Eli stepped forward. "This is Max. He's not just a dog. He's trained to protect every part of me. My voice, my breath, my heart," Max growled. "Try hurting me again," Eli whispered, "and you'll see what else he can do." Aliens regret. Everything smoke drifted through the command bridge. The lights were broken. Sparks flew from the ceiling. The alien attackers had either run or lay defeated across the floor, and standing in the center, untouched, was Max. He did not chase the last rebel. He just stood there, silent, breathing, watching. The glow in his eyes slowly shifted from red back to blue. Eli walked toward the main console. "Max," he said softly, "stand down." Max lowered his head. He obeyed, but never took his eyes off the doors. Across the station, aliens watched the recordings, the footage from security. Cameras had gone viral within the military network. They watched Max dodge lasers, break steel walls, tear through squads of trained attackers, carry a little alien girl to safety, protect a human with more loyalty than any soldier ever had. On screen, he didn't look like a dog. He looked like a myth. An alien commander on another ship said quietly, "That's not a weapon. That's something we can't control." Another asked, "What is he?" The reply came from an older general speaking in fear. "He's what happens when humans don't just build machines, but bond with them." Back on the station, the alien officers who had once mocked Eli were now standing far back, silent. No more laughter, no more jokes. They looked at the human and his dog like ghosts staring at death. One brave officer stepped forward, hands raised. We apologize, we didn't understand." Eli turned to face him. "You thought Max was just a pet," he said. "You called him a toy." The officer nodded shamefully. "You threatened him. You tried to separate us. You mocked Earth's bond with its creatures." The officer looked down. "We didn't know he could fight." Eli's voice grew sharper. "It was never about fighting. It was about loyalty. That's something you can't scan or analyze." Max looked at the officer. Just a glance. The officer flinched. Medical Bay Ely sat on a low bed getting his arm bandaged. Max lay beside him, eyes half closed. He looked like a normal dog again, but the staff didn't go near him. A nurse asked, "Is he safe now?" Eli smiled faintly. He was always safe. It's the galaxy that wasn't. The little alien girl Max saved earlier walked into the room. She had a small toy in her hand. She came close, slowly, and placed the toy near Max. He blinked and nudged it gently with his nose. She smiled and hugged him. None of the adults spoke. Some even teared up. In that moment, they saw something no machine could fake. Kindness. Command Tower, Interstellar Broadcast Room Council had gathered. High-ranking aliens from multiple worlds watched the recordings and listened to the reports. No one could ignore what happened. Decision had to be made. One council leader asked, "Do we declare him a threat?" Another said, "Or a warning." A third said, "No, he is a message." They all turned to the screen. It showed Max lying quietly beside Eli. Never threaten a human, not while loyalty still walks beside him. Elsewhere in the galaxy, other Max units began to wake up. Guardians, partners, silent protectors on far-off worlds, waiting for the one command that would change everything. Back on Yelana 4. As the station repaired slowly, Eli and Max prepared to leave. A ship had been arranged for them. The same officer who once mocked them now walked beside them, respectfully silent. Before they left, the officer asked, "Why a dog? Of all creatures, and why choose something so simple?" Eli smiled and looked at Max. "Because dogs don't give up on their people no matter what." He turned and walked toward the ship. Max followed. The officer whispered under his breath, "We made a terrible mistake." Humanity's secret weapon, revealed far from Yelana 4, deep in the quiet black of space. A meeting took place in a hidden council chamber orbiting a dying red star. Leaders of multiple alien civilizations sat around a floating table made of light. Screens hovered in the air, replaying the footage of Max, how he fought, how he protected, how he obeyed only one man. The silence in the room was heavy. Then one elder alien leaned forward and asked the question everyone feared. "Are there more?" No one answered, because they knew the truth. Meanwhile, aboard the ship leaving Yelana 4, Eli stood at the front viewport, watching the stars pass by. His body was still healing, but his mind was sharp. Max sat quietly beside him, tail still, ears high. "You were seen," Eli said quietly. "They all saw what you did." Max didn't respond, but he understood. Eli turned toward a locked black case. Slowly, he opened it. Inside were 7 metal cards. Each card had a name: Max, Luna, Titan, Ghost, Vega, Pyra, Nova. He picked up one marked Luna. Time to wake the others. Flashback. Project Cerberus. Final stage. The Northridge facility didn't create one prototype. It created 7 dogs, each enhanced, each trained with one human, each unique in skills, design, and bond. Max was the first, the strongest, but not the only one. Luna could see through walls and sense heartbeats across walls. Titan could carry a grown human through fire and acid. Ghost could vanish completely, from sight. Each one made for missions humans couldn't survive alone, but Earth shut them down. The Council feared the power they carried. Eli hadn't forgotten, and now the galaxy had seen what just one could do. Back on Yelana 4, the spy who had been watching from the shadows now stood before a council of alien strategists. Her helmet was off. Her eyes were wide, her voice steady. You were wrong to mock the humans. You were wrong to fear their ships or weapons. She looked directly at her commander. You should have feared their loyalty. One general asked, "What do we do now?" The spy replied, "You don't touch the humans again. You treat their companions as equals or you risk extinction." No one argued. Back on Eli's ship, the communication light blinked. A message had come through. He opened it. To Captain Eli, subject. Class 7 Cerberus detected. Possible reinstatement protocol authorization. Max looked up. Eli smiled. Looks like they want you back in uniform. But then the message continued. Earth has received new intelligence. Enemy factions have begun cloning efforts based on stolen footage. They're trying to copy you, Max. Eli's smile faded. They never learn, do they? Max stood. His eyes glowed blue, not with fear, with focus. A hidden facility. Enemy territory deep underground. Alien scientists poked and prodded at a wounded creature that looked almost like Max. It had fake fur, broken eyes. It shook in its cage. One alien said, "It copies the look but not the heart." Another replied, "That's the missing piece." Suddenly alarms blared. The door blew apart. Smoke rolled in, and a low growl echoed through the chamber. A real growl. The fake Max cowered in its corner. The scientist turned. The real Max had arrived. Behind him stood Eli. "You tried to copy him," Eli said, stepping forward. "But you didn't understand. It's not the armor, it's not the fangs, it's the bond." Max lunged, and this time no one stood a chance. Across the galaxy, new orders spread through alien governments. Posters were hung in military bases. Do not engage human canine guardians. Classified threat level extreme. Treaties were rewritten. Ambassadors were warned. Even criminals whispered the same thing. If you see a human with a dog, walk the other way. A new treaty. Written in fear and respect, the Galactic Unity Council met under emergency protocol for the first time in over 2 centuries. The Grand Chamber floated above the neutral planet of Virelos. Delegates from over 300 alien civilizations gathered. No one smiled. No one joked. They had seen the footage. They had heard the growls. They had watched the galaxy change because of one man and his dog. A large screen showed Max, standing quietly beside Eli, in full armor. No leash, no chains, just a silent, unshakable presence. The council leader stood. "We have fought wars with machines," she said. "We've negotiated with empires, but never, until now, have we faced a species whose pets protect them better than our armies." She looked at the screen. Earth warned us, and we laughed. Earth sent a message, and we mocked it. She paused. Earth did not send a warrior. She turned toward the assembly. They sent a best friend. Back on Eli's ship, he stood by the window, looking out at the stars. Max lay near his feet, eyes open, alert but calm. A message flashed on the control panel. A treaty. Sent from the Galactic Council. Eli opened it. It read, "Humans and their guardian class companions shall be recognized as bonded units, protected by law, not to be separated, not to be threatened, not to be mocked." He leaned down and scratched Max behind the ears. "We did it, buddy." Max blinked slowly. Then the message continued. "In fact, your kind shall no longer be classified as pets, but as sentient allied guardians." Eli looked at Max. "That's a long title for a dog." Max gave a soft huff of air, not a bark, but something close. Back on Yelana 4, years later, a teacher stood before a group of alien children. She pointed to a hologram showing Earth and a man walking beside a dog. "Who can tell me what we learned from the Earth species?" One student raised their hand. "That humans are stronger than they look?" The teacher smiled. "More than that." Another student said, "That their dogs are weapons?" The teacher shook her head. "Still not it." Then a small, quiet child in the IDU back spoke. "They never fight first, but if you touch their friends, you don't just fight the human." Everyone turned to the child. "You fight the part of Earth that loves the human." The teacher nodded. "Exactly." In a distant system, a gang of raiders spotted a lone human traveling with a dog through the dunes of a desert moon. One of the raiders laughed. "Easy target." The leader froze. "No. But is that a blue-eyed black dog with him?" "Yes." The leader stepped back. "Leave them alone." "But why?" The leader didn't answer. He just whispered, "I want to live." Final scene. Back on Earth, a park. Green fields, soft wind, children running. Eli sat on a bench. Max, now older, lay by his feet, calm, breathing, still sharp. A child walked up and asked, "Is that really the Max? The one who scared the galaxy?" Eli smiled. "He didn't scare them. He taught them." The child sat beside Max. "Can I pet him?" Eli nodded. "Ask him." The child looked into Max's glowing blue eyes. "Can I?" Max blinked. "Once." The child laughed and gently placed a hand on his fur. Eli leaned back. The war was over. The galaxy had changed, and it all began with a laugh. At a dog.